Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I have this 2020 freightliner Cascadia with a DD15 engine, and today I'm going to show you how to replace the injector seals. These are the injector seals, and many of you had asking me about how it's like to replace these seals. I have the process on my injector caps seals replacement, but I don't have a straight out replacement for this. So this video is just gonna be about these seals replacement in case you want to do it. These seals are located right here on the housing. These are the ones, see, and the reason why you are going to replace them is because they start leaking like that one. See how wet that one is? Because they start leaking. So that is the reason why you are going to replace them. A very basic process, very easy to replace them, but it also requires some skills to do it. So let's start with the process, and for that I'm going to demonstrate you how to replace the injector number 1 seal. So let's get to it. First, we have this sensor here, but this is only for injector number 1. So all the other injectors are going to have different process on how to do it. So I want to start with injector number 1. So we have the harness, the plug for the temperature sensor here. So I'm going to remove that with the tool. There, still in place. Let me use the hand. It's very tight. There. All right. So get it out. See. Now the next step is to get the line off, and we're gonna be using a 3/4 or 19mm grange. In this case, I have a 3/4 grange right here, but I also have a stubby 3/4 grange, and you're gonna see when I'm gonna be using this. And I also have this socket. This socket is the special socket to get to these lines. The reason why you need this socket is because most of the time these lines are super tight and you need extra help, and this has extra grip for the line. So see, it goes straight. Let's see, let's put it on. See, it goes straight. So this is the way you're gonna remove it, very straight. And if you're using the grange, you cannot grab it straight and you can damage the line. So in this case, I already have it loose. These lines are already loose. So I just gonna demonstrate you how's the process, but I'm giving you the details on when you wanna use the tool right there. Well, so with the 3/4 grange, we are going to get this one loose. There, see, and this one loose. As I said before, this one is already loose, so don't think that it's so easy how to do it. Sometimes it's very hard how to remove this. Alright, so here is when we're gonna use the stubby grange. So this one is loose, right? So we can get it out. Pretty easy. And now this one here, see, it's easier with the stubby grange. Alright, it is out. I'm gonna put the grange back where I grab it. and we can get the line off. See, this is the way the line looks. Okay. Questions about it? This is the way it looks. It has some diesel, so be sure to do this job after you stop the engine for 5 minutes or more, so that way you don't get any pressure back when you release the lines. But this is just a little peace of mind that you have to keep on yourself. So now we're gonna be using this 10mm wrench, socket, to get this one loose right here. It's 10mm, so there, it's loose. So I'm sorry, it's really hard to use all these tools with one hand. I'm trying my best to don't cut the video, so that way you can see the whole process. Now with my hand I'm going to remove the bolt. They're very small, so be careful not to drop them. Same with the other one. Okay. And now with my tongue, I don't know what's the name. And now I'm gonna grab the seal like this. See, I'm gonna insert my finger here like this, and I'm gonna push it up. Yeah, and it's out. Pretty easy, without using special tools. And we have the seal out. See the big difference, the old versus new. Now I'm gonna be grabbing a cloth or something to clean the surface. Okay. Now it's nice and clean. Be sure that there is nothing in here. It is not possible that something can go in there, but it is always good to inspect, 1 second, 5 seconds of time inspecting something can save so much time when you are doing a job. Now the new seal. This one goes like this here. So because I'm using one hand, it's gonna be a little harder. I'm gonna grab the ball right here and I'm going to insert it. Alright, it's in. See? Let's do a little more. Now the next one. Put it in. Now, don't tie these two bolts yet. These are going to be loose, so that way this seal can move up and down if it needs it, because it has to adjust to the position of the line with the injector. Next step is to grab the line.
There the fuck he is. Been hiding for the last couple of days, man. What's up with that?
Well, I'm recording right now.
Oh, you recording? Oh, I'm sorry. All right, man. Continue.
All right. I just clean the line pretty nice, and with the grease fell down. And I was recording. It's hard to keep it in place. When I grab a bit of grease here, which that's too much. Well, it doesn't matter. So, and I'm going to get some grease on the seal. This is so the line can go easy in, and this one too. All right. Continuing on putting the line in there. So you guys are going to be very familiar with this, I guess. So let's put this one here. See, this one is loose. I haven't tightened at all. This is just 1-2 threads in. No, it's not even one thread. Okay. 1-2 threads in. It is just so you can hold the line so it doesn't move. And these ones, we're gonna get it in the injector. You're gonna feel when it goes inside the injector, see, straight like this. Now we are going to use the stubby wrench again. So with the stubby wrench, we are going to put some pressure and rotate at the same time, like this. Pressure, rotate. Pressure, rotate until the thread of the injector line gets relocated. And you wanna feel once the injector line gets relocated in the injector thread, because it's gonna get a little harder to turn. So once it is like that, you just have to rotate it until it's tight. Alright, it's tight with the stubby wrench, right? It is not fully tight the way it has to be on place. It is just on place. Then we can actually tie this other. So we can tie this one all the way with the 3/4 bigger wrench. Be careful with the sensor. See how close this one gets? So be careful with it, otherwise you can break it. And one more. Alright, that's enough. Should be around like 40 pounds torque, but you can follow specifications for specific details. Now remember, these bolts are loose and the line is on place. So next step is to grab the 10mm, which I left it here and I forgot, and tight. So you're probably gonna have easier time working on this because you're gonna be using both hands, but I'm trying to show you the best detail possible. Okay, tight, and tight. Okay, those bolts are tight, 10mm bolts, and the line we can use the 3/4 wrench to tighten just a bit, because we won't be able to tighten all the way with the 3/4 wrench because the position of the wrench, see, it's not, we are not able to tighten. See, it damaged the line. So we're gonna be using this one to tighten, but be sure not to over tighten, because next time whoever needs to replace this line is gonna have hard time. Be a little, conscious about other people working on trucks, and also it can damage, components. Last step is to install the sensor we remove, the plug. Easy, just press it in until it clicks. Okay, if it doesn't click, that means then it's not in. just be sure it clicks, but be sure not to press it way too hard because you can break the sensor. So this is the way this line is replaced, and this is going to be just the same way to the other lines, except for number 6. Then it's gonna be real difficult because we have an extra return line. Let me get it closer so you can see it right there. We have an extra return line, this one, so it's on the way, so you have to play around to get to it. But the basic process on how to do is the same, and the difficulty is going to increase depending on the location of the line and also depending on the chassis the engine is mounted. Now with this I actually show you the whole process on how slide to replace the injector seal lines. Remember, these seals right here, these get damaged over the time and start leaking, spraying oil around this area, and that's when you know you have to replace them. And also it's gonna be pretty noticeable because it's going to get all wet. See, like that, it's going to get all wet. So that is what you have to do to replace them. In case you wonder how slide, I had a couple people asking me on how slide to replace these seals, and today I have the chance to show you this specific process just about that, because it's something that you can do yourself if you have the tools and if you have the time. So another important step or thing or something important that you need to know besides all this is that once you replace all the lines and you go back inside the cabin and start your engine, it's gonna crank and not start for a bit, probably like from 1 to 10 seconds maximum, and after 10 seconds it's going to start. And the reason is because when you remove the line, it's obvious air gets into the system, so the fuel pump has to spray all that air out the system. You can use the primer pump to help out, but it shouldn't take more than 10 seconds. If you replace all the lines and after that the truck doesn't want to start, there is something wrong. You have to see what you did, or you have to go back and check line by line. Probably one is misplaced, or simply it was not done correctly. Something was not done correctly. I mean, I cannot explain that because that is something that you have to see if you get the issue. But if everything works fine, everything should be back to normal as it was. Another important thing that you have to know, if you replace the lines, I mean the seals for these ones, these are the seals. If you replace the seal and then after you replacing the seal, you see then inside here, inside the tube, you see fuel coming out, that means that your line is defective. You have to replace that line. It will be better if you replace all the lines, but it's kind of expensive, so it is just extra knowledge, so that way if you do the process and you see this and you see that, you at least know what to do. Don't get scared. Some of the things are very basic, so that's what you have to do. But overall, this is all I have to show you, a straight out process on how to replace the injector lines on this DD15 engine. And this is a 2020 model. It's a very recent model. I mean, a very recent truck, a very recent engine. But this process is going to be similar to all the DD15 engines. Doesn't matter the year. It could be a 2009 or it could be a 2015. And also it's going to be similar for the DD16s and 13s, since the basic on how to do is the same. But as I said before, the difficulty is going to increase or decrease depending on the chassis and the year and the components the engine has around. Well, with this I finish this process, and if you have any questions, go to the comment section below. Always You can leave any type of suggestions or anything else to help this video to be more informative. You can go to Instagram and look for me from franciscoamaya YouTube. You wanna see me there day by day and things I'm doing, questions too on Instagram is better for me. Subscribe to the channel, very important. Like the video, share it with anybody that wants to know information about these trucks, and thank you for watching.